Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Luxury Live Show. With me here is my co-host, Fashion Bee, Amy. And thank you to everyone who's here already. We're like 3 minutes. Well, we're always a little late, right? If you're new to this Luxury Live Show, welcome. It is our weekly live show that's hosted on my channel and on Amy's channel alternatively every week. So make sure you subscribe to both our channels. We talk about all things luxury. And today we have a very special guest, and it's actually all thanks to you because everybody's like, bring Mel. We're like, okay, we'll get her here. So, guys, we have Mel. So let me just bring her on board.
Drum roll!
Hi,
guys! It's so exciting to have you here, Mel. Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. Hi, everyone.
Wow, look at all the comments. So, Mel, you can see on the right side, all the comments. Yep. Everybody's like, hi.
Hi, Clara. Hi. I'm just seeing the comments. It's new to me.
Yes, Clara is our friend and our regular, right? And our moderator as well.
Hi, Eileen.
Hi, everyone. So thank you for joining us today. We have Mel in Melbourne here. We're so proud to have you here. And thank you for your time because, usually 2 hours, you're just so busy. So thank you. And today we're going to talk. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about the truth on getting the Hermes bag because you are the Hermes queen here on YouTube. So many of your bags. We definitely got some eye candy as well, right?
Yep. I brought some things down to show you all.
So
I need some truth. I need some insight, man.
Yes, and Amy is on her. You're trying to get your first bag here,
this
and
year,
it's so different. Yeah, it's so different. I'm in Singapore.
It's very different, yeah. But I hear that Australia and Canada is pretty similar in terms of like, there's only one store in your city, or in your city basically, and also like the stock is very low compared to the supply. Things like that. I feel like Australia and Canada are very similar in that regard. So I'm pretty excited.
It's competitive here as well in Singapore. But okay, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna interview Mel with a few questions. And everybody, let me put this in the banner. So remember to put a bunch of your question marks in front of your comments because we see a lot of highs and chit chat. So put a bunch of question marks so that I can see it and I'll pull it to the front, and then you can ask questions to myself, Amy, and of course, ask Mel in Melbourne here all the questions that you want to ask. Okay?
Ask away, guys. I will answer it as best as I can.
We'll pick your brain today.
So I'm going to ask the first question. Okay, I'm going to ask the first question. Let me take away that banner so it doesn't block us. So the first question is, Mel, tell us, how did you get started? How did you get started with your first Hermes bag?
Okay, so you guys know my whole story when I got my first one in Paris. So that was 2016. But actually way before then, I wanted to get it from the Melbourne store, but it was like, pretty much impossible. So that wasn't going to happen. So in Paris, at that time, the system was really different. And, on Instagram, you always see posts like, oh, I went to Paris. I got it on my first shot. I got it on my second shot. So, I actually tried 6 times. Like I lined up. This is when you have to line up in the morning, like before the store opened, and then try. And then they'll come back and say, oh, this is your appointment at 12 or 4 or whatever. And so I tried 6 times before I got my first one in Paris. So it wasn't easy for me at all when I got my first one, but it was in 2016.
Can I ask?
Yes.
So Mel, you said that you wanted to try it in your Melbourne store, but you thought that it was pretty much impossible. Like, what made you think it was impossible? And I guess also, when did you decide that you want to like get your first Birkin? For me, I know why, because like everyone's getting it. It's like the popular thing, but it's also, I guess for me, it's also I have enough Chanel now. Like I just want something else that's different.
Yep. I have just always loved bags. You guys know that my past history, I was a bag buyer. And so, the epitome was always like Birkin, Kelly. At that time, I wasn't sure which one I preferred. I do have a preference now, but I wasn't really an Hermes shopper. Like when I went overseas, I would buy scarves and little things like that. And I remember actually sending an email to the store, and I don't even remember. This was like, I don't even know, like mid 2005. I don't know. I was like mid 20s or something like that. And already I could tell from the email reply, it's like, oh, yeah, we'll put you on a list and stuff like that. So I just, and every time I walked in, I was a bit intimidated. I think when you're in your mid-20s, you are a bit intimidated as well. And it's not like I had spent a lot about the brand. And back then, there wasn't any sort of advice or YouTube videos or anything.
Yeah.
So I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to wait. I probably wasn't in the position anyway. I'll just buy the things that I like. I've always loved Hermes scarves. Amy, I know that you love Hermes scarves too.
Yes.
They look really good.
Addicted now.
Yeah. So that's why. And then I thought, you know what, let's just wait. I don't want to rush it. So yeah, it just became like that until 2016, where, I actually heard it was much easier to get in Paris, which is true to some extent, but it's also hard. Like you just hear a lot more success stories than all the people that fail. And there's a lot of people that go to Paris and they don't get it either. It's just that it seems like, oh, if you go to Paris, you can definitely get it. That's not true. That's not true. But it's more of a chance because you don't need a, purchase history. It's very possible to go in, as I said, because I didn't have a purchase history. I was just very determined on my first shot. As I told you, it took 6 times to get my first Birkin.
Did you go 6 times that whole trip, like every single month? Wow.
Well, we were there for a bit. It was like I went 6 times in total. Because in Paris there's 3 stores. So I tried at 2 stores 6 times, but it was at the flagship store that I got my Birkin.
Wow. So does that make your trip become, like, I know this is kind of outside, but does that make your trip become less about like touring Paris, but more about gaining that Birkin?
Totally get it. And I was really honest with, when I shared that video, I said, for me, yes, I lined up in the morning and everything, but if I couldn't get it, we already had certain things planned. So I had planned a couple of days where I knew that I was going to try really hard, but it wasn't still going to deter the plans because it was a family trip with the kids. We still wanted to go and see certain things in the afternoon. So if they gave me an appointment and it wasn't in the afternoon and it was in the afternoon, I would just say, well, I can't. But, but it does, to be honest, it does a little bit. Like if you go very determined that you have to try every day. There were some people that I was speaking to in line and they were like every single morning, they've been there like just like the whole day. They just like pretty much sit and wait.
I think that'll be
and then they change the system. And then they change the system. Yeah. Like, because Paris is so much cheaper too. Like so much cheaper than the regular Singapore, Canadian. Actually, all our currencies are very similar.
Yeah. We're actually almost. I think maybe
the Canadian is a little stronger now.
Yeah.
But it's still very similar. Like, I think sometimes it's on par with Australian dollars. Sometimes it's on par with Singapore. Even though right now it's slightly stronger. But wow, okay. Shall we move on to the second question?
Paris is your best bet for no pre-spend. You can absolutely get it in your first try, like more chances than anywhere else in the world. That's for certain. But it's not always a success story. That's all I want to say. Just, be realistic too. You don't want to give false hopes that, Mel said I could go to Paris and get my first Birkin.
We're coming back to this live and we're going to screenshot that point where Mel said you'll definitely get it.
Actually, the second question actually ties into that. So we want to hear your advice or any tips or insight that you have for buying locally versus buying in Paris, especially locally, but for Paris, when you bought your first one, I mean, I'm sure, like, did you walk in and did you just say like that's your wish list today? Or did you actually try to, I don't know, did you try to ease in? Did you try to buy other things before? Or like how How? Yeah, just give us some like insight as to like buying locally versus buying in Paris.
Paris. Okay. So in Paris, I've actually gotten 3 bags. But let me talk, the first time, I think it was just persistence. And they don't beat around the bush. They know what you're there for. So they're like, how can I assist you, madam or sir? What are you looking for? You know what I mean? There's no sort of like, I mean, I think it definitely does help if just say the day before or something, just say you were after something like a scarf or shoes and you buy something. I have heard from some of my subbies that they bought 1 or 2 things, and then when they got an appointment and stuff like that, you know, they got a bag, but that's not always true. So I reckon the first time it was just more persistence, and I clicked with that sales associate, because I think when I asked her the 4th time, she's like, oh, we don't have anything, but if you come back tomorrow, you know, I might have something for you. Might. It's always might. They never promise anything. So I just think it's really important to be yourself. And I know it's very cliche and stuff like that, but it's just being polite, because you can't imagine the amount of people that are rude there. I know all luxury brands, sometimes, yes, the customer service is not great, but then again, putting it onto the customer, there can be some really rude customers, like people like, she got something and I didn't, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like they seriously, like people like were causing drama. I saw it, and you know, people get very, very upset. So I think that, you know, be yourself. Obviously, I'm not saying you have to dress to the nines, but just dress nicely and comfortably, you know, and just be honest with them. And you know, people also say mention anniversaries and stuff. I don't think that hurts, but I don't think it's definitely like would help, but it doesn't hurt just to say that, oh, it's my anniversary and stuff like that. It comes to my second story of when I didn't get it, but my husband got it. Okay, so just for eye candy, this was my first one from Paris. Okay, so my MEL kit.
Let me disappear. Let me disappear.
I'm wearing green. Yeah.
It's
so
such
this is a
beauty. Oh my gosh.
Delicate. Is that how you pronounce it properly, Amy? You're a French speaker. Malachite, malachite.
In French, I would say malachite, but is that even a French word?
Okay. I don't know, but we know, you know. So that's my first one. So that was persistence.
Beautiful bag.
Second one, okay, this is, you know, and then you guys let me know your experiences in the comments below. But second one was in 2017. I didn't get it. Hubby got it. Both of us got appointments at the same time. This is when the system changed to what it is, where, you know, you have to register and then they send you a text whether you failed or you have an appointment this morning and you've got to come up to blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we booked under separate appointments. That's another tip, that if you're going with a partner or a friend, make sure you have 2 passports and register different times. So that's another tip. And so we just happened to get an appointment on the same time. So I failed. I didn't get anything, but they say sometimes guys, if they go by themselves, are luckier. For my husband, that is true, because he got my Black Kelly 28.
Oh.
So this is that's why this is called Miss Annie, because it was anniversary, our 18-year wedding in 2017. So very classic 28 Cellier, Epsom palladium hardware. So a bit of eye candy for everyone.
Oh my god.
So that was the second one. And yes, Amy, did I answer your question? Do you want me to tell you the third time I got what happened on the third time?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so in Paris, that was in 2019. I did not go. That's when I went with my trip with 7RP, and I was really only in Paris for 2 days. So I was like, yeah, let's just whatever. So I just went in there like super chilled, like. I just went in, I'm like, I just started talking to the SA. I didn't even, he goes, what are you after? I was like, oh, tell me how your day is. I was like, well, just like that. And then, because I knew like if I didn't get it, it doesn't matter, because I wasn't actually fussed. So then that was a different story, because I said, what do you think I should get? What do you think I should get for my height? I don't know. Well, and then so he was talking more, and there was just more that we clicked. And then he just asked, I said, oh, I'm not sure, maybe a 25 or 28. I'm really open. And then he goes, oh, I might have something. So wait. And then he comes back. And then he goes, do you like pink? And I said, yeah, I like pink. And then when I opened the box, it was actually a green Kelly. And he looked confused. I looked confused. I'm like, this is a green Kelly, right? And of course they say to you, okay, so people will ask questions, you know, I don't blame the sales associates because they're trained to, because I saw the next person, oh, do you have anything? And then that girl said, oh, sorry, madame, we don't have anything. But obviously my dude got something. And then I'm like, this is gorgeous. It's green. But because I had the malachite, I was like, no, you know. And then I'm like, I thought you said you have a pink one. This is green. It's gorgeous. But what was the pink one he had? He goes, oh, Rose Sakura. And I'm like, Rose Sakura? Yes, I want it. This is closing time, so there's hardly anyone around. Oh my gosh, I just screamed. I hope it wasn't too loud, everyone. And then I was like, yes, kiss. And he goes, do you want me to get it? I'm like, yes, please. And then he got it. And then that's how I got this.
Oh man.
25. This is in Swift leather, retourné. And yeah, so more relaxed. It's definitely softer, but Swift honestly is not as, you know, delicate as people think. I used to be so scared of Swift, but this has held up beautifully. It just depends on what you prefer. So yeah.
Actually, would you get a Swift bag that you can only wear crossbody though?
Would I get a Swift bag
that doesn't have a handle?
You mean like in a Birkin? I would definitely consider a Birkin 25 in Swift still.
Oh no, like a Constance, for example. Because like for me, the rule of thumb for buying where's Cat? The rule of thumb for buying Chanel lambskin for me, it has to have a top handle.
No,
so
no.
So if it doesn't have a top handle, like for example, if it's just like a crossbody bag, I would not buy lambskin. That's my rule. But like, so I would consider Swift to have similar to like the lambskin of Hermes, right? Because it's the delicate.
Well, yes, it's a bit more delicate, but it's not that as delicate as you think.
Also, you would still get it in a Constance.
Yes, I would buy a Swift in a Constance if it was the right color, but I still in a Constance would prefer it in Epsom or, you know, like just say we're talking about the Woolly, the Evercolor, you know, stuff like that. But I never say never, because in an 18, I think it's okay. 24 in Swift, not that they come that much. I wouldn't. 18, maybe. What am I saying? In 18, when I had my Rose Sakura in the 18, I think it was Swift. I'm like, because I sold my Rose Sakura.
I remember you had one.
Because I had this, and I'm just thinking, actually, that was in Swift. What am I talking about? Yes, Amy, so I did.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, I'm
actually one more thing I wanted to know more about. Oh, you have a question? Go ahead.
Okay, I'll ask us first. Yeah. If we always get this one question from a lot of the subbies, is that if they offer you, I'm not sure if Mel, you have an experience in this, when they offer you a color that is not the one. You know, it's a beautiful color. It's, you know, it's one of the, maybe a unicorn, but it's not the one that you want.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Are you talking about your very first bag or second bag or just in general?
In general, I guess. Oh, okay. Maybe, I guess this is maybe more for first bags. I guess when you're buying your second bag already,
you're more open.
It might get easier to say no, but maybe the first. Yeah, let's do the first, because we get these questions quite a bit.
So I actually get that question a lot as well for my subbies. And the thing is that don't ever feel pressured to take it, because you have to remember at the end of the day, the sales associates and buyers, they understand that this bag's not cheap, right? And the thing is that if you're spending that much and you are going to be looking at it later on with even slight regret, it's not worth it, because your first bag, you want it to be so special, you know? And if it's just not your color, even though it's beautiful and stuff like that, you're not going to pick it up. And I just think just as much as you want to get it, it's the experience as well. And you won't get blacklisted. I know there's the rumor, like, if I don't accept it, I'm going to get blacklisted. And that's not true. You know, I've had several conversations with a few different Hermes SAs, a couple of different Hermes store managers, and they do understand. But I always say to people for the first time, if they are, you know, looking to get a Birkin or Kelly, just to be open with their color. If you're so like, I only want black and that's it, it may take a much longer time. I'm not saying that, you know, if you only want black, you shouldn't consider anything else. But sometimes just be a little bit open. Like, for example, just say you only want black, right? Maybe like Itan. You could think of Itan as a second choice that you would still be happy with. Obviously, choices that you're still happy with. But yes, I've turned down bags before, but it wasn't on my first try. But it wasn't the first one, because the first one I did have colors in mind, the black thing and malachite. And malachite I was just so happy with. But just say they brought it out in, I don't know, like a really, like a brown or something. I don't know if I would have said yes to that. I mean, it's easy for me to say now because I got what I want. It's much easier said than done. But I always say the same thing to my subbies, and then they come back and said, I'm so glad that I didn't take it because a few months later, then my bag came. It just takes longer. It's a very, sometimes Hermes, you have to be very, very patient. Amy, you will get it. Let's put it out to the universe. Amy is going to get her bag, okay?
Amy is going to get her bag, definitely. And it's going to be black. Do you want gold or rose gold? I can't remember now. Was it rose gold or gold?
Actually, I would be happy with both. But my essay knows that I like rose gold because I buy like all their jewelry in rose gold. Even like when I bought the scarf ring, he was like, "Oh yeah, rose gold looks good." And I'm like, he knows that I like rose gold. So okay, so speaking of
colors? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I actually had quite a few colors. They're all neutrals though. So like you said, black, étain, étoupe, gold. I was even open to gris perle, but after a few months, I scratched that one just because I was like, oh, okay, it's my first bag. Maybe I'll get the darker color so I can wear it all year round. So I don't know when I'm gonna get a second one, right? Like I honestly don't know how, like if I have to wait that long for my first one, I don't know how long I'll have to wait for my second one, right? So I figured a darker neutral I can wear in the winter because we have pretty harsh winters here, and then I can wear it in the summer.
We do.
Yeah.
But that's good. I mean, like I'm just saying that there's some people that like, I only want gold with gold hardware and that's it. And they're not open.
No, not at all. Not for me.
Be open to some more neutrals. At least you've got black, you've got étain, étoupe, you know, like that is, and especially since those colors tend to be the, you know, they always will have black, you know, it's not a seasonal color or anything.
Right. That's what my essay said too. He said that those are like that they make more of those colors that people like. Which actually leads us to the same, still the same question, but buying locally, what are your tips? Because you got one of your bags locally as well, right? You got offered.
Yes.
Was it your?
So
there was a Birkin, I think there was a Birkin in Cellier, right? Not Cellier, in Epsom. Remember that was.
Yes, the very first one I got from the Melbourne store. So now actually in Melbourne we have 2 stores. Yes, we have one in the city and then one in this big mall. And the big mall, I mean, the second one only opened up maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now, but I don't know because Melbourne's been in lockdown for 200 plus days. But anyway, different story, right? So yeah, we do have a second boutique, but I got that one at the, you know, the only boutique at that time. So that was a black Epsom 30 gold hardware. So ideal combo, everything, right? And then everyone's like, you crazy, Mel. I can't believe you sold it because I did sell it.
Yeah, he says.
Yeah, I remember.
I did sell it. And it wasn't that I didn't love black and gold. I still actually would love a black and gold Birkin back in my collection. But what I realized is I really prefer Epsom in Kelly's, or now that they have Birkin-Celliers in a more structured sort of bag. So that's what I think, or maybe it was just the black in the Epsom. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't, out of all my bags at least. So it wasn't like, oh, you know, straight away. So I just thought, yeah, if I'm going to let that one go, I'll let that one go, especially since I had my black Kelly as well. So I did have black in my collection. So that was my first one. And that one, to be honest, the first one in Melbourne, I think it was really because of the relationship with the store manager that I was just lucky that the SA that I was dealing with left. And then I was like, oh, and then it just happened that the store manager was talking to me. So I didn't have to wait that long for my first one. I think it was within 4 months, 3-4 months.
Oh, it's fast.
Yeah. So yeah. So it was fast on like that. But then the second one took longer. That took over a year. That was my Gris Tortorelle. And then in between the Gris Tortorelle and my next one, that was 2 years. So yeah. And I also want to just say something to everyone as well. I get this question a lot, and I know you might not ask this, but a lot of people assume, because yes, I am a loyal client of Hermes. I love Hermes, not just their bags, but you know, their homewares, their accessories, la la la, right? They're like, oh, I see that so-and-so have a special order, but you don't have a special order, Mel, you know, blah, blah. I haven't got offered a special order. And that's okay with me. I mean, like the store manager knows that. And sometimes people expect once you've been a customer for so long, or once you've bought something for so long, you should have that, but that's not true. So it'll happen when it happens. Of course, I want a special order, but everyone's circumstance is different. So don't feel bad for everyone, all the Hermes lovers out there. If you're still trying for your first bag or you're waiting for your special order, look, I'm still waiting. This is a long time later, you know, and I still have no special order. So I just want to say that.
My essay said no way to me.
So you actually asked?
I did. I said, could I get a special order? Because I'm really sick face. And he just looked at me. He said, no.
But you know what? At least your essay is honest. My one is just maybe. But when I asked, I was just being cheeky. I'm like,
yeah, I was just being cheeky.
One day I can ever get a because I love this is not going to happen, all right? But I love lizard. Lizard is my favorite, and it's really, really rare and hard to get. I said, could I ever get it? He goes, no. I said, okay. I go, but could I get a special order maybe? And he goes, maybe one day. But Melbourne gets so few allocations, like even less than Sydney. And so of course it's going to go to their top VIPs. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Amy? Is that answer everything?
Yeah, I guess like, you know, like, yeah, it did. I guess, like, you know, like, what do you think of the whole pre-spending thing? Because that's what you have to do locally, right? And like, would you have any tips about that, I guess? Because I know people.
I've got one question here from, I'll pull it since it's the same question. So then we'll repeat it. So it's also asking about this pre-spend. So from YPF7717, how do we speak to an essay about the quota, the purchase history? This is sort of like a pre-spend question, right? How much is enough?
The thing is that it really varies country to country. I find in Asia, generally speaking, they will be a bit more upfront, and they'll be like, if you buy this bracelet that's worth 10,000, I'll offer you something. Or, you know, in touristy countries like Hawaii, and I've experienced this myself, not at the store I actually got my Kelly from, but I'm like, if I buy this, will you offer this to me? And then the essay is like, if you buy this, I can offer you this. But if you spend more, I can offer you this. That does not happen in Australia. Yeah, they will just tell you straight up. In Australia, anyone that's in Australia, if you cannot ask, oh, if I buy this, will you give me a Birkin or Kelly? No. That doesn't happen.
I feel like it would not work here either.
It won't happen. They will never give you a number. They will never say that here. And they just don't. From the whole time I've been shopping here, you know, since 2016, I have never, ever said, oh, how much do I need to spend to blah, 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 blah. Never. And they would never. And I think they've been trained. And every store manager, I guess, manages their store differently. But I don't believe in Australia. And this is just my opinion, guys. And, you know, anyone that's, from Australia and you've had different experiences, like, look, there's always an exception to the rule. Maybe there's an essay that's sneaky and said, well, doesn't maybe answer it directly, but like, well, if you buy this, there's more of a chance, they could beat around the bush a bit. But the thing is that there is no magic number. I've had subbies write to me in tears saying, I've spent 100,000 and I haven't been offered anything. And I've had people that wrote to me and said, I just walked in, I was myself, and I just bought a scarf and they offered me a bag.
In Melbourne?
Yep.
Wow. So
Wow.
it boils down to basically just work with the flow. Like really, since there's no magic number, and then it's so different for everyone. Everyone's experience is so different. So just basically be yourself and buy what you love.
Yeah, but generally speaking, I think as a whole, and this is generalizing, but it's still true. Hermes still values, obviously, you guys know this, customers that honestly love the brand, that are loyal and stuff like that. So that case where that person walked in and just bought a scarf like that, that's going to be a very rare case. Normally, I would say, this is just very general, that they like to see that you are buying from all different categories. And then when you on your wish list and stuff like that, they see that you've bought a few things, then they will offer you the bag if it comes in. So it's relationship. Sometimes it's a bit of luck as well. But usually I would always say, and even when I was talking to Marianne, and you guys know Marianne is the, founder of 7RP, buys for 30 years, even in France and all that, she always says, you have to spend for them to offer you something. So usually it's a spending thing. You have to spend some. So sometimes it's 2-to-1, Amy. Sometimes it's 1-to-1. Sometimes it's 3-to-1. But generally, at least 1-to-1-ish.
That's what I was told too. 1-to-1 is like pretty much the standard minimum, like standard, like process minimum.
It's just, I think it's quite standard because they like to see, okay, well, this person's serious. They've invested $10,000 into the brand, or 15 or whatever, it costs. So, okay. Don't you think, when you got your one from the Singapore store, was it approximately 1-to-1?
Mel, I had a lot of questions about this. It's a lot more than 1-to-1.
That's why I say it can be a lot more all the time as well. So
yeah. Let's see. I actually, it's almost 1 point. Well, actually, I sold one thing. So, but if in total I count everything, maybe 1.7, 1.6 to 1.
At least it's not 2 or 3-to-1. I think sometimes about this, we just also have to laugh, because sometimes people can get very, very serious and upset about this. And you can tell even from each of like me and Kat, it's a different journey as well. When you talk to, I know you've had Clara on. Clara's on the comments too. I'm sure her experience is different. And Amy, all up so far from the very start, since you've really, gone in and been serious, how long has it been now?
It's going into my 9th month now.
Okay, so not a year yet. It's not.
No,
it's
not a year yet.
Okay.
Mine was about about 6 weeks. I got my bag in 6 weeks.
See, that's so quick, right? But then I spent.
Yeah, I spent, and actually, I didn't even want. How do you say? I knew I was going to buy things, right? I knew I was going to buy things, and I said, okay, let me put in my investment, my H investment, and then I told my SA, okay, I'll see you when you have my bag. Because unlike what you said earlier, where you said, give your SA a few choices, I actually had no choice. I was like, this is the only bag I want. I want black.
Oh, see?
Yeah, I want black, gold hardware, Togo 25. I don't want anything else. But my SA was like, yeah, we'll see. We'll try our best. We'll try to make it close to your black, maybe dark blue. And I was like,
no, give me black.
Yeah, no, I was like, really? Because he was telling me like, your first bag, no way, it's really hard to get. And I was kind of like, breaking at the seams. I was like, okay, all right, fine. Maybe not dark blue, maybe dark like maroon or something, like dark color. I was kind of like breaking. I was like, okay, fine, not black. And then when I did my final purchase, I told my SA, I said, please, I don't want any other color, just black, gold hardware, and I'm willing to wait. It doesn't have to be now. I can wait next year. Just get me that one bag. That's all I want. I'm not rushing for the bag. And then 2 days later, he called me and said, here's your bag. I was like,
maybe he was just playing you. If you have a good relationship, sometimes they like to surprise you and just say, oh, no, we don't have it. And then they have it. And then they just want to call you. Sometimes I've heard that too, because, I have another friend and they didn't know. They just said, oh, come in for this. And then they surprised them. Oh, we got your gold, whatever, Kelly, I don't remember if it was Kelly or Birkin. So I don't know. But see how the stories are just so different. So I don't think there's a, one size fits all, but there are definitely general things where you can say you generally need to spend to get it. And, besides touristy places, there is more chances. Obviously, I've been to Hawaii and I can attest that it's easier to get because they have a lot more stock. And obviously places like, I think, New York as well. Yeah.
Actually, you mentioned Marianne, although that's not really related. Resellers, actually.
Okay.
So you started getting into buying from resellers. Yeah, tell us about that. How do you find the right resellers? Like, what do you look at?
Yeah. So with resellers, I've also had a lot of resellers approach, me for collabs. You guys as luxury YouTubers, we get emails about collabs all the time and stuff like that. So for me, the reseller that I did purchase from, I actually work with. And so that was already that trust there. But before that, before we even started, we actually FaceTimed and talked a lot about everything because I had a lot of questions for him. My minimum is that they have had to be, on Instagram for a minimum 1 to 2 years. So I can just see that. And the thing is that they have physical stores. So at that time they had a store in a small showroom in Malaysia in KL, and they also had a small the part of in Singapore as well. They're just actually about to open a new Singapore store. I forgot the location, Kat, but this really new popular mall. But anyway,
what's the name of the shop? What's the name of this reseller? Let me check it out.
It's called Eclair Atelier.
Eclair Atelier. Okay.
So surprisingly, a lot of Hermes resellers are from Singapore and Malaysia, I find.
Yeah.
So many. But even just generally, just say I wasn't talking about them because I don't, I wasn't working with them. Generally, what I always like to look at is, I always check out their feed. I always see if they've got a feedback tab. I also like to personally ask them, have you sold any bags to any, person I know on Instagram? And then I will message that person if that's the case. For example, Kat, I remember ages ago you got a pre-loved bag from Finkelpuff. Yeah. And I've saw a couple of things. So I know that she had been around for quite a while. There's another really big one that always does lives. What's that name, that reseller in Singapore? She always does it.
OBS.
No, really big.
Lux. Is it Luxee
Lexicon, yeah. There's always certain ones you always hear of that they have stores and stuff like that. So I think when a reseller has a physical location, they've been operational for, a couple of years or a few years. That's something that I always look at. And then I always ask tons and tons of questions. So how this relationship started with this particular reseller is because, one, we just got along, because I had said no to other people before, but they had just expansion plans. And so that is why I trusted them as well. Plus this particular reseller, goes to France a lot himself. He speaks French, which is good. I know Amy, you speak French, but he's from Cambodia and, he speaks French. But anyway, so yeah, he speaks French. He goes a lot. His family loves Hermes. So he's got like a big, long history with them. And there was just, we just chatted a lot first before I even did a video. So that's why I trusted. And he also did the whole, really assured me with, if anyone gets an inauthentic product, of course, we would do the refund. We would do the Baba Bebe certificate, all that kind of stuff. And any question that I asked, he always had time to answer in detail. So you know how sometimes you can ask a question to a reseller and then if they think you're not interested, they can be quite rude. I don't know if you've tried. They can be quite rude. So I already know that's a big no, but that wasn't the case. So that's why this particular reseller I decided to work with after spending a few months talking about everything to ensure I do my due diligence in my checklist. And that's why I've been working with him for almost 2 years. And I've actually got a few bags from him and I feel very comfortable with him and his products.
Awesome. I've got a question on this
Okay.
this is sort of like more if you had to do it again, right, Mel?
Yep.
So I guess a lot of maybe if you're a first-time buyer,
Yep.
would you buy your first bag from the store or the resale market? Like if you had to start again, knowing what you know now, like if you had to say, okay, should I have gone through all that trouble trying at the store or should I have gone straight and just get the bag at the reseller? Because now, I mean, compared to before where maybe resale market wasn't so hot, like I'm looking at the website and he's got a lot of bags, right? A lot of new bags I haven't checked the prices, but so let's say you're starting today. Would you go to the store? Or would you say, you know what? I'd go hassle-free resale. What would be your advice? Like, what would
I do? Okay. So if for me, I think it also depends on your personality too. Okay. Because the thing is that with this Hermes game and stuff like that, a lot of people hate it. Let's be honest. A lot of people are like, when you get Hermes, they're like, why would you stoop yourself so low to, you know what I mean? So for me, I always wanted my first bag from the boutique. That's just a personal decision. And because I genuinely, besides their bags, love their products, right? That is what I would do and I wouldn't change that. But if I was the type of person that I knew I only wanted something very specific and I was very, very picky with what I wanted, then I don't think there's anything wrong with going the reseller route, because even before all this, you guys know I'm a big pre-loved vintage lover anyway. So I'm not afraid of going down that route. But for my first one, for me, still boutique. That's for me. So I guess you've got to ask yourself, do I want to really, because generally you do need to buy other things. Do I want to do that? Because it'll probably end up being the same price or even more than just paying the premium from going from a reseller and getting exactly what you want. But then I also completely understand that some people don't feel comfortable, they still I still worry about authenticity, I still everything. So you have to do what's comfortable with you. And if you're not comfortable with resellers, then just wait it out and buy it from the boutique. It just may take longer.
Good advice. Good advice. Thank you.
That's all right.
Okay. What if that, because the current reseller that you use for your Birkin, for your bags, it's because of the reputation and you are working with them, so that there's this trust. But what if it wasn't the case? Would you have still went a reseller route?
Yeah,
how would you go about that?
Oh, sorry, go on, Amy. I stopped you.
No, how would you go about that? And then I guess it ties into that, like buying vintage. What are some of the things that you look at as well? Yeah. So if you didn't have that connection with the Éclair Atelier, then how would you have gone about reseller, or would you even have gone the reseller route?
I absolutely would have gone my husband just brought me a chocolate.
Oh no, so sweet.
um, yes, I still would have gone the reseller route. And as I said, before I worked with the Clay Atelier, I was, you know, familiar with, it's, as I said, mainly Singaporean and Malaysians. I don't know why it's always there, but, you know, like Lux Lexicon, Rue La La, Finkel Puff, all of them. Yeah. And I had discussions with Finkel Puff. I actually had another discussion with another Singaporean reseller company. So I was always open before I even worked with them. And that's what I was saying before. Like, I always check their Instagram first for their products. I check whether that particular Instagram has physical stores, because if they do have a physical store, it's much more trustworthy, because if they're going to con people and you have a physical store, I mean, who would wreck their reputation like that? So not all of them do. And so I look at that, Amy, you know, how long they've been in business, whether they have a physical store, as I said, feedback. And I will always ask them, as I said before, like, do I know anyone that's purchased from you before and can vouch for you? So, for example, like with Finkel Puff, she'll say, yeah, like there was Kat, and then there was, I can't remember, someone else or something, and I knew of them on Instagram. So people that I know, if they say, oh, no, we don't know anyone, then I probably would cross them off the list. So I always ask questions. And then also I can tell, because I ask a lot of questions, like just how they respond. If I don't get a good vibe from them with how they respond, and they're not willing to give me extra details because they just want the sale, then that's another no-no. So that's why I said, don't be afraid to ask questions, because resellers should understand that it's a lot of money, and yeah, you're entitled to ask as many questions and ask for extra pictures. Yeah. So yes, I would have bought it. Reseller route, in short. Kat, you went the reseller route first.
Yeah, actually, that's the reason is because that time I didn't know how to get it from the store. Like I always, okay, so for me, my stand, when I wanted the Birkin, I've always wanted the Birkin, but I just never knew how to get it from the store. I didn't know the process. I didn't know, I've never heard of the word pre-spend. I've never. And I think that time there wasn't a lot of resource online like today where people share openly about pre-spending. I think that time was still a little bit more, I guess, secretive. I mean, it still is, but it's, you know, today compared to like 5 years ago, it's very different. So yeah, I just went with the reseller route, and I knew a friend who bought from Finkel Puff, but she did warn me. Finkel Puff is one kind of reseller that you got to go in, you got to know what you want. So she's a little different. So, but I knew what I wanted, so I didn't get like, you know, I didn't bombard her with a lot of questions. But yeah, I was happy with that purchase.
Okay.
But yeah, knowing what I know now, I think I would have gone with the store. Like I think not that I paid a premium for the item, because mine was older piece. I didn't buy like a brand new one from her where there's that markup, very large markup.
Right.
But if I knew what I know today about building that history, being more of a customer, and it's not so overwhelming. I think I should have just gotten my first bag from the store. It's just that I didn't know. I was scared, couldn't find an essay, didn't know how to find an essay, didn't know how to step into the store and say, I like a bag. But then, yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it? Some people can get intimidated, and I don't know if you guys get, you know, asked this question. Sometimes people are like, how do I even go into store and ask? It can be so intimidating, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I just said, just be yourself. Remember that at the end of the day, they're just like us. Like, they're just doing their job. Yes, they have to put a professional front on, and you have to remember every day they get asked these questions, you know. So they are a bit sick of it, but they do get asked all the time. So it's no surprise for them. It's almost like they're expecting it, kind of, you know. But would you still buy from reseller now? Amy, would you ever after you get your first one, which Amy is, remember, we're proclaiming it, she's getting hurt.
Yeah.
When your second one, would you consider vintage or pre-loved? Or new from a consignment store?
New from consignment, I would definitely consider. Vintage, I have a harder time accepting vintage. I think for me, which is funny because I just filmed the Q&A earlier and I mentioned that I will accept vintage if that vintage piece was hardly used as well. So basically just as good as pristine, because for me, I'm so peculiar and so picky about the conditions of my own bags. Like if the wear and tear on the vintage item is already in a condition that I would never have, like myself with my own bags would never have gone to that state, to me that's unacceptable. Like so I would only accept vintage in those occasions, and only if it's in a, say, in a leather or a color, or I don't know, maybe even a different style. Maybe some of the vintage styles that are not available anymore, such as the mini Kelly, like the taller one, like those. I would go for vintage if it's available. But hearing, what you guys say about Malaysia and Singapore having all these stores, we have hardly any here. So there's not that many to even contemplate from, like in the vintage or even the consignment. It's possible that I haven't looked hard enough, because that's not a route that I have considered yet, since I am still after my first retail experience. But I will accept it eventually. It's just not my first one for sure. And it has to be in like basically vintage and brand, either vintage or secondhand. It has to be like in brand new condition, basically. For me, that's how I go about it.
Understandably.
But I think, we're going to have a live in a few weeks. I think in October, we're going to talk about the sort of like Hermes journey, because it's expensive, right? It's expensive to just go in and spend just to get the bag. Even after a while, like you should keep spending because you may get the bag. We're going to talk about sort of like, when does it all stop? So even for me, I'm not sure, if am I going to keep buying from the store, because it's sort of like a little like a gamble.
There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee you will get the bag. Like Mel, you just said, and I think we have this one question. She's like, what's the longest time that you've waited like for a bag? And you just said you took 4 months to get your first bag, and then another 1 year, and then 2 years later. That's a lot of spending. And I think for me, I don't know, like maybe after a few years I'll say, I'm done at the store. I'll still be a customer, but I may consider going back to the resale market to get.
And it just depends. Like also, I think the 2-year one was also because I had to change stores. That's when the new store opened. So I almost had to start a whole new relationship with a new store. Wow. So I hate that. I hate when that happens. But anyway, so that may have contributed to it. I know everyone says the official quota is you can get 2 bags a year, but geez, would you be lucky to get 2 bags a year? People definitely do. I'm not saying they don't, but if it's even 1 bag a year, you're doing very, very well already. But that's a really good topic you guys would be doing, because it can get really frustrating. And as I said, people can get really upset because, there's people more than a year, 2 years, or even longer, and they still haven't gotten anything. And it can be very disheartening. And I understand that. That's why I am a believer that if you do have a reseller that it's trusted and you feel comfortable with that, only if you feel comfortable with that, because not everyone does, you can still obtain, your dream Kelly or Birkin or whatever Hermes bag you want without going through that process, because it can be very tedious.
All right, I'm going to start taking questions. All right, Amy? Because I think we got quite a few. All right, so this is directly to Mel from Denon Teeters. Mel, do you think Hermes is truly experiencing low stock right now, or do you think they always have bags in the back? I'm at my 1-to-1 and no bag, still waiting.
I do think COVID has affected the production in general worldwide for bags in general, yes. In terms of whether I think they always have stock at the back, In my personal opinion, yes.
I think so too. They definitely
But
have stock in the back.
But depending on the store to store, maybe they might actually not have that many. Like they might have only like one or two, and maybe those ones are reserved. You know, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But you know, especially in those bigger stores, right? And I've seen it firsthand. I mean, come on, in Paris, like they literally said to the girl next to me, "Oh, we have no stock," and then I get shown a green one and a pink one. I mean, you know what I mean? And so I think that's what a lot of people don't like about Hermes. Is it's like, can't you just be upfront? Like, just tell me if it's, you really don't have it, or tell me you don't. And I get that. I really get the frustration. But yeah, so I know you're at your one-to-one and still waiting, but I think a lot of people are in the same boat. But generally speaking, I do think stock is generally lower because of COVID. And remember, in the month of August, the artisans especially take the whole month off. So it will be even lower stock. So that's why you see during Christmas time, November, December, a lot of people get, not a lot of people, they tend to be a bit more offers around that period.
I also want to add something because I read that in, I think I read that in either Purse Forum. I don't know where I heard it, but it's also possible that because the essays they rotate, or the managers they kind of like allocate the bags to an essay at a certain time period. So if you happen to be speaking with an essay that has already offered their bags and they don't have any like that, their own allocation, like they're not allowed, even though they might have bags in the stock in the back, but it's allocated to other essays, like it's their turn, then that could be the reason why as well.
Absolutely. That's 100% right, Amy, because the store manager has to be very fair. I mean, you just think about it. There's certain, you know, essays that have been there for maybe 10 years, and there might be a new essay. So you don't want to disadvantage the new essay too. But, you know, they do, I think the store manager decides, everything has to go through the store manager for approval anyway. And so they're like, you know, I have this client, blah, blah, blah. They present a little mini case, and then, you know, the store manager will decide. So they do need to make their rounds. But I do think, obviously, the more senior you are up and you have more clientele, the store manager will take that into consideration as well, obviously, because a newbie may not have as many clients as, say, you know, the team leader.
Yeah,
that's true. Awesome. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is from Joe Overjoyed. Mel, your quota bag collection is so spectacular. Unicorn. We have a little unicorn emoji. Can't see it on this platform.
Okay.
Would you buy an exotic B or K? And if so, what is your specs? So we know lizard is your favorite.
Yes, I would love a lizard. I mean, I actually really love the vintage mini Kelly that you can't get anymore. And that time it came in lizard. But I mean, these prices are so crazy that even if I wanted to get it, I can't drop $80,000 on that.
You know, I'm going to add to that question. Which bag would you sacrifice? Okay. We'll add to that after you share your specs. Okay, but tell us your specs and then tell us which bag would you sacrifice if suddenly your essay says to you, Mel, get your special order now. 80,000.
So my specs, I mean, okay, if because I know lizard's going to be really hard, but if I could get an exotic, I do like lizard. Not only that, is because lizard is also much more similar to ostrich in the price point. So it's still, I mean, it's expensive, but it's still much more manageable. So it's like ostrich, lizard, very similar. But then lizard on the resale market, my goodness, it goes so much more than ostrich. And then you go to the crocs, and then within the crocs and stuff, there's different varying levels of grading and how expensive they are. So I mean, just say it wasn't lizard, of course I would love to get a croc. For me, it would be in a bright color, because their exotics in colors are stunning. And you guys know I love color, so this is just me, but in a smaller size, probably in a B25, I think. And I do really like there's a gorgeous pink I like. There's a green, but then I already have the green, but the green one in the croc is in the shiny croc. It's like so nice. I mean, I haven't given much thought to it because I'm like, it's not going to happen anytime soon. But another thing that I'm considering is actually looking for croc on the pre-love market, because in auction houses, you can save like literally 20, 30, $40,000. And I don't mind going a vintage croc. And I've seen the condition of croc. Croc is actually a very, very, very durable leather. And then after seeing, you know, Marianne's 40-year-old croc bag, I was like, oh my gosh, it still looks so good. Maybe I should even just get black. But yes, I would love an exotic in short, but I haven't entertained the idea too much because it's not going to happen anytime soon. So
You never
I already
know.
know exotic. My store manager told me, you're not getting an exotic special order. I'm like, okay, fine. Let's see if I can get a special order first.
Okay, but say your
Yeah.
SA remembers that, right? It's time. Okay, Mel, come and get your special order, and you say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go crop. Which would you have to let go? Which would it? Let's pick one of the bags. You're like,
That would be enough for the croc though. I think our croc is like $60,000 or something. You know, I have to let go of a few bags though, Kat. So I probably would, you know, have to make up the money. You know how you did this tag, Amy? Like, you know, when I
Yeah.
said, have you got sacrifice? I've got to sacrifice a few. I might have to sacrifice a Kelly and a Birkin and some Chanel's to make up that money. Because how are you going to make it up?
yeah, that's
How am I
true.
going to, you know,
60,000.
pretending I have like no savings and stuff and I just need to come up with 60 grand like that? I would sacrifice. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. Oh my gosh. We're putting it out to the universe.
Yeah.
And then
It's okay. I'm in no rush. I'm putting on the universe. I just want my first special order first.
Yeah.
all right. Thank you. Okay,
Okay.
so this is an interesting question from
Hmm.
Katie. Mel, in Paris, do you know if your friend gets the appointment, are they the one who has to pay? Or if they get an appointment, can someone else use a credit card to pay for the bag?
Okay. From my experience, just say your friend gets it. Whoever if they're offered the bag, they need to pay for it. The only reason they'll allow it is just say your husband and wife, and just, you know how you have your main credit card and then a supplement credit card and your names are different, but you have the same surname. They may allow that, but they can be really, really strict. So just say your friend gets it. It's not like you can pay for it on your credit card, from my experience. Mm.
Wow, that's strict. So they actually want the person whose appointment is to be the payee.
Because of all the resellers that go there, you know, like you have to remember in Paris and all the European cities, I'm sure all these resellers have all these people trying and stuff like that. So whoever buys it has to be the person that pays for it. You know, that's why they ask for your passport details and everything. And then, you know, that's my experience. If you guys have experienced anything else, let me know. But I think they could be lenient with a, you know, husband and wife or partner thing, you know, but not if it's your friend, different name and everything. They need to pay for the bag with the credit card or, yeah.
It's actually the same here in Canada. They apparently just implemented this since the pandemic started. And also, I guess because of the whole reseller thing that happened, like not the reseller thing, that whole like big dramatic, you know, in Paris when last year, like the whole, do you remember like they uncovered the whole case of fake buyers. Anyway, so ever since that incident and since the pandemic, they have implemented the changes even here locally in the stores where you are only allowed to pay for your own under your own profile. So my husband and I are actually on the same profile because I just put his name on my own profile anyway. Because apparently even within the same household, they will not allow, say, your husband to try to get his bag and then me to try to get my own bag. It's like the same household. So I just put his name on under my profile anyway. And we always visit at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think it'll only get stricter as we go along, and I guess that applies to the Paris thing, which makes total sense since that
Yeah.
big incident.
Yeah. Thanks for your question, Katie.
Thank you. Okay, this one is from, it's not a question, but I think it's MK. MK is from Europe or Paris, and he always wakes up to join. So that's how you pronounce.
Hi, MK. Malak. So it's Malakit.
Malakit.
Interesting.
Malakit.
Oh.
I didn't know that word.
Okay, from Just. I am totally being influenced to start an Hermes journey. How do you know if your local store has an open wish list? Is it appropriate to ask? I'm in the US.
Is this just for me? What do you guys think?
Well, we don't know.
You know what? I think it's always, I mean, as I said, I always think they know generally what people are there for. I mean, if they've never seen you before, but if you don't feel comfortable and just say there's something that you like and you don't want to start off with, how do I get a Birkin and Kelly? Then I think it's, you know, you just ask them directly and you're just saying, you know, I do really love your bags. Is there, how does your store work? If I want to be, you know, if I want a Birkin or Kelly or whatever bag, does your store have a wish list? Because each store may call it different things.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know how exactly. And I said, yes, it is appropriate to ask. I think you should ask. And you just come across really natural. You said, you know, I don't know if this is the right question, but I just wanted to ask. If you don't ask, you don't know. Maybe some stores will say, oh, sorry, our wait list is closed. You know, in the past, it would be like, no, our wait list is closed for 2 years. And then suddenly, oh, no, we're open to the Kelly just in the 32 in now or something. So I've heard so many varying stories. So just ask. I say ask.
Yeah, never ask, never know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I think maybe this is for all of us. Okay,
Yeah.
Leah Tan, hi girls, I'm in Sydney and I've spent 1.4 to 1 on ready-to-wear, home stuff, and shoes. I put it in my wish list once, but I haven't mentioned it again. How often should I bring it up? Okay. Okay, I'll start. How often I do it in Singapore? Every time I see my essay.
Seriously?
Well, yeah, I will. When I got my Birkin,
I didn't know that.
Well, I don't bring it out. I'm not like, where's my
Well, you
bag?
probably do it in a joking way. It's like, where's my bag?
Yeah, I'm just like cheeky way. So that's me. So every time I go to the store and if I buy something, if I say I don't know, I buy something, I'm like, I'll get my bag, right? So if he's in the mood, he'll be like, just ignore me.
Yeah.
But then I knew I got in when my essay suddenly said, we'll try, but not sure of your color. Then I was like, I am close. I'm chipping away at the fellow. But yeah, I do bring it up. For me, I do, but I do it. I think I assess the mood of my essay. I would be like, you know, depending, you know, if I'm there just to scout out the place and I'm not really serious about buying anything, then I don't bring it up. But I think in all the times that I went during my first bag where I was going in for the kill,
going in for the kill, I love it.
Making my investment, then I did bring it up. I sort of said, so I like this color, and I'll bring it again. Oh, I like this hardware, and I guess I just was more straightforward. But now I don't, because I'm not in getting the bag. So that's for me, personality wise.
How about you, Amy?
I brought it. I actually brought it up on the first visit, and then I didn't bring it up until the third or fourth visit. And just to clarify to everyone here, I visit once a month, and every time I buy something. So there wasn't any time where I didn't buy anything. I always buy something. I just feel weird if you have to make an appointment, like that essay is allocating 40 minutes to an hour to you. Like, I just feel like I have to buy something, and I always end up buying something anyway because I always wanted something. So on the third visit, or like I said, third or fourth visit, it was when he actually, like, we sat down and he actually like had to enter it on his iPad, like my wish list. That's why it was brought up. And then that's it. I mean, I brought it up again the most recent visit, but that's because
how do you bring it up? Like, what do you say?
Sorry?
How do you bring it up? Like, what do you say to your essay? Like, oh, how's it?
Where's my bag?
The first time it was sort of just brought it up as a like, why am I here? Because it was the first time I met my essay, and I kind of just said, oh, because I would like to, because I kind of mentioned that, oh, I'm already like into Chanel, like I have such a healthy collection of Chanel, like now I really want to just try to get my next holy grail, like. And then I mentioned birthday, like you said, like big year birthday this year, and that was sort of to let him to get to know me, sort of. It was nothing specific though, like I didn't mention color and things like that. I just mentioned the bag I wanted. And then I guess how I brought it up the time he jotted down the items or the colors and size was exactly like you said, like, how does it work? Like, how do I go about, like, you know, the wish list bag that I want? Like, how do I go about it? What's the process? And that's when he sat me down and then we went over it. It's sort of like you have to judge when is the appropriate time, like, because I hear all the time that, oh, if your essay has written it down, like either usually written is like on his iPad, right, on the iPad or the phone that they use, then you know that they have it on file, right? Because if you just tell it in orally, like, do they actually remember that? That's what I was told, that that's the process. So I kind of brought it up around the third visit when I bought jewelry and stuff like that. Yeah, I kind of used the item that I bought, like based on the item that I bought, I kind of brought it up again. And I felt like third, fourth visit was long enough to bring it up.
And you haven't brought it up since?
No, only until the last visit I brought it up again.
Okay.
Because I also knew I was over the 1-to-1 quota, so I brought it up again.
But then how did you bring it up that time?
Oh, that was just like, oh, can I ask what the status of my request? Just like simple question like that.
Okay. And then
not right away when I went in. Like I went in, I browsed, I bought things, and then when I was checking out, I asked, oh, by the way, what's the status of my request? Like just one line, just that's it.
Oh no, oh, no, as in like how did they reply? What did your essay say in reply to your the status question?
This time he said, I have noted it, don't worry. It will happen this year, something like that.
What? See? Okay.
But it's just that you know, this year there's still several months this year, so we just don't know. But he at least told me, don't worry, I got it.
That's a very good thing. I think that's a really good sign, don't you, Kat?
It is. At least I know that, like, I'm not waiting indefinitely, right? Like I have something to look forward until whatever, 3 more months.
That unless it was something. And I mean, I'm not saying you know, you should hassle your essay, but sometimes I have to say this though, even though people and essays jot down your list, that doesn't mean they remember it, because you have to remember they have so many clients, and sometimes they need gentle reminders. And that's not emailing them all the time or calling them up and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know how it works there. Like, but do you always have to make an appointment with your essay to go in? You can't just drop in?
Oh, it's because since the pandemic and because our cases, our active cases of new COVID cases are so high, so they require an appointment. And I happen to have started my journey since this year, like literally in January this year. So the appointment system was a mandatory thing, although they are changing it slightly now because Canada is reopening. So now you can actually walk in. But I heard that if you walk in, you still have to, if you want to work with your essay, you have to wait till your essay is available. So sometimes you could be walking in when that essay is just started working with someone. You might be waiting 40 minutes for that essay. So I'd rather get an appointment anyway, if possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here
I
you go
haven't
before as
experienced
well.
it the way before because I started during
During
COVID,
the
right?
pandemic,
So
which is true with the appointment.
yeah.
But I think, Leah, to answer your question, right, I think you've got to gauge, taking into account what Kat said, sometimes your essay's in a different mood. Sometimes you can say it in a jokey way and it's fun. And sometimes you can just be very straightforward and just saying, I'm just wondering, I remember I put my wish list in, whatever. And then it seems like from your comment that you haven't mentioned it again since. So absolutely, you should mention it again. Often is a subjective word to people, you know, like often could mean, you know, some people think, oh, every week. And you know what? Some people are so persistent that they call every single week. Do not do that.
No.
Yeah, don't do that. Please don't.
Well, there are people that do that. But I'm just saying, when you're visiting and you maybe every second visit or something, you bring it up just casually and stuff like that. I would even recommend, like, just say like your partner or something goes in with you. I mean, I don't know. You could always try this out. Like, who knows if it works, but I've had some friends that said that it works. Like, because they also know the essay, what they do is they call separately another time and say, oh, get, you know, an anniversary or a big milestone birthday is coming up. I'd love to get this. So you're not there, but they do it. So they feel, you could even try that. That's what people I know. I mean, they, you know, the anniversary, birthday, all that kind of stuff, like, yes, sometimes it works. Yes, sometimes it doesn't because they hear it all the time. But, you know, sometimes guys get more success. I don't know why, but
maybe because women are so naggy.
You know, there was even the story. Okay, there was one time when we were in Prague, right? I just went in, never bought anything and stuff. And I was downstairs trying some shoes on. I came up and then he was trying shoes on. And then the girl came back and said, oh, come in with us. And I said, what'd you say to her? And then he offered us a Kelly. I mean, she offered us a Kelly. And I was like, what'd you say? And she just obviously liked him. And I'm like, what the hell happened? So, you know, with Hermes, you just don't know. You really don't know. Yeah.
I think the often, it really depends. Like even when I was asking my essay, it's sort of like a cheeky ask. Like, let's say if I took, like, okay, this was one of the tops, right? This is one of the tops. And then when I said, oh, I like black, and I'm like, I like black, okay?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah, like black, so it'll match this black. And then he'll be like, okay. So that's like me, right? So it's often, but it's not persistent. But in total, let's say my whole journey, my first batch journey, I only had one conversation with him, a proper one where I sat down and said, okay, let's talk about it.
Oh, yeah,
I want black. And he's like, oh, it's really hard. But all the other times it's sort of like, you know,
just cheeky one sentence or just like,
but in total it's only once. It's like just one time. And then when he said, you know, it's really hard, you know, you can't get black, it's very hard to get for your first bag. And that was like a proper conversation when I was reaching my quota.
Yeah. I think another thing, Leah, that another way you can re-mention it is just like, oh, you know how I put my wish list. I just wanted to let you know that one of them, and it could be the case, one color has changed. So I just wanted to update it with you. You know, that could be a very, you know, good segue into it, in talking about it without being like a pushy customer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leah, for your question. Okay. So this one, I think we've answered already. During the conversation. So from Annie, what would you be able to share the pre-spend ratio, your experience to get in your local boutique? So we sort of talked about it, like general rule of thumb is 1 to 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go down. I hope I don't miss any. There's so many comments, so many discussions, right? I think there was one question which I missed. I can't find it. But Mel, the question was, do you buy any fine jewelry? I can't find it now.
I don't actually have that much fine jewelry from Hermes. I have the rose gold H ring.
Mm.
I have their costume jewelry pieces. That's kind of it in terms of fine jewelry. So no, I haven't really bought that much. I'm not saying I'm not going to. I just haven't found the one that I really like yet. So some costume, only one fine jewelry ring.
And ready to wear. So this is the question from Jen, actually. How about
Yeah.
ready to wear?
Yeah, I bought some ready to wear, more like because I love their teas. I own quite a few of their teas. And let me just think what other, not at my local store, but I have bought one of their jumpers, like it's like one of their cashmere jumpers before, but not anything really big like the jackets and stuff like that. But I have expressed interest that I want one of their Twilane cardigans, but oh my goodness, it's so expensive. It's like $4,000-$5,000. I'm like, but then I love it. I might even get one, but the thing is that I want the right one. So the ones that they've shown me, I don't like. So I won't buy it if I don't like it, if I'm going to spend that much. But I am interested in that as well.
Nice. Yeah, I love their micro teas. And I think, Amy, you've got a few. You got one or two? I can't remember now.
No, just one. Because the other one that I wanted, they didn't have it in stock.
Oh, I love it.
Remember?
The fit is nice. It's comfortable.
They're so comfy. They fit well.
And it doesn't. I'm wearing one, so it doesn't scream
They look
Hermes.
good.
There's nothing. It just looks good. Okay, this is not a question, but this is the comment. I think I was looking for that Eclair Atelier. It's at 313. So 313 Singapore. It's a big mall.
Yes.
Yeah, 313 Somerset.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really, really big mall.
Somerset, that's it. Yes, they're opening mid-September.
Oh, I should go and see. I shouldn't.
You know what's so sad? Right? If it wasn't for this pandemic, I would have been able to go to Singapore for the opening.
Oh no! Oh.
I know. If we could fly, I was like, anyway, one day we can travel again. One day.
I heard Melbourne is going to open. Like I heard the news, like you're opening, right? You were saying like next week or no, sometime this month.
No, our lockdown got extended. Basically, what our government's doing is like they're saying, unless you get vaccinated up to a certain percentage, we're not even going to open up. And when they do open up, it'll be slow. But it's gone to the point where like those people that are not vaccinated, there's certain things they're not even going to be allowed to do stuff. That's how much they're restricting it.
Okay, let me see. I see. Okay, I think this is a question from me, Kat. So for your spending of 1.6, I don't want to. Let's not talk about it anymore. Okay. Within the 6 weeks before you got your bag, did you spend it all in one go? No, actually, I didn't even realize until the end that I went over what people say, right? Because they say, "Oh no, stick around one," because I was buying things that I wanted. So I wanted this top. I wanted the shoes. I forgot what I bought already. What else did I buy? It's good that I forgot. But yeah, I bought a few things, but I blanked out the experience because it was like, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I bought it every time I went in because when like Amy, I made an appointment every time I went. So my first trip to the store, I knew I wanted to get a proper essay because before that, I never had an essay. I just decided, let's go, let's try this out. Of course, Chanel price increases, and we talked about it before that. The excessive price increases just said, you know what, it's getting too much. I might as well just, reallocate my funds and see if this could work. Yep. So I went in, I clicked with the first essay I met, and I know people say you may not click with essays that you meet on the first time. That I was lucky. It's nice, funny, kind of matched my character. And then I just went in every time. I did it quite quickly. And I think it was also during the end of the year. It was holiday and I was quite free. So I went in. Every time I bought a t-shirt, I bought shoes, I bought a bracelet and got some makeup, and then I got some fine jewelry, and then I was like, okay, that's it. I can't do it anymore. But I didn't do it all in one go. I definitely didn't. I did it every trip that I went. It's fun. Okay.
In a way, you don't want to remember exactly, like that's the way I look at it too. Like you don't really want to like be so calculative in a way, because then it takes away the joy of the process. I know we call it process, you want to be strategic, this and that, but we all know also that it's very unpredictable, right? Like some people are lucky, they get it right away, they spend on a couple of things only, and some, like Mel's example, her subby spent what, 100,000. I mean it just can be so varying, right? So if you truly buy what you love, which is what I try to do, then you sort of forget about how much you spent.
Right.
Yeah.
It's bad, I guess, for your wallet, but like as long as you can budget it into, you know, the process of trying to achieve it.
Right.
And as long as it's enjoyable, like you're not just buying for the sake of buying, then it's okay. I feel like being too specific and calculative, it really just takes out that whole joy of and the patience that you might have otherwise for achieving the item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think so. And for me, one of the things that I do kind of like understand now, because when I did my last purchase and then I sat back and I calculated and I said,
yeah, only if you sat down
yeah,
and then
but because I already, because of knowing it, then I sort of unintentionally felt the pressure that where's my bag? But even though it was so short, because a few days later my essay called me, right? But I suddenly felt like, oh, now I know what it means. Like, where's my bag? Like, where is that wish list item that I've been asking for? Even though for me it's really short, but it sort of dawned on me that, okay, where's my bag? Okay, where's my bag?
Well,
but for me, luckily, I didn't wait that long. But I was okay. But also in hindsight, that I did tell my essay, get me that one. I'm okay to wait. But it just felt, then it felt that horizon was a bit unsure. Like, am I willing to wait 1 year? Am I willing to wait 6 months? I didn't say it, but am I, mentally prepared to wait so long? So I do understand when people say, I've already spent so much, I don't know where to bring it up. When is my?
But actually, that's when you should bring it up. Like if you, like after a while, then you sit down and you calculate how much you have spent, and you've reached a magic quota, then that's when you should bring it up, right?
Yeah.
I think I don't know if I would be gutsy enough to bring it up every single time. Like I haven't done it because it's just not in my personality, and which is why I am more, I guess, depending on the occasion. Like I felt like the first time was okay just because I was just trying to let the essay know me. And then I felt like the second time was when I had bought a few things already, and he knows my intention, right? So when we were able to sit down, and I find that usually when you buy, like, tell me if it's the same for your case, like whenever you buy jewelry, you have to sit at a counter because they have to bring out the tray and everything, right? So they have no choice but to really concentrate on you because you're face to face. So that's a really good time to ask about your bag.
I guess this is the same from
Shanna,
right? Yeah, Shanna also said, Mel, you mentioned you got your first bag from Australia. Did you immediately tell them that you need a handbag after pre-spend, or roughly when would you tell the essay? So I don't know if you mentioned whether you did you had a history for your first bag, right, Mel?
Yeah, but I had think in that before I got that offer, I spent a few things. It wasn't all huge, but I bought, some rodeos because I'm crazy about rodeos. And then I think scarf, maybe a belt, like just not, it was definitely not the one-to-one, but it was over 3 or 4 months I purchased little things. So I had visited the store maybe 4 times or something, and then I got the call. So, and during those 4 months, as I said, it just depends on the occasion. After the first time putting my, wish list and stuff together, the store manager already knew. So I think I maybe only brought it up another time, and because it was quite quick, I think 3 months or something like that, I didn't really need to bring it up, but I would have if it was a long wait.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Let's see this one from Roy. This is actually this one I myself am not sure. Like, does your pre-spend reset to 0 after every quota bag offer? I have no idea this. Do you know, Mel?
I don't know if it exactly resets, but it kind of does in a way as well, because like for example, if someone is to get I know a case where someone got 2 quota bags within a year, and their one didn't reset. They hadn't spent the same 1-to-1 before getting the second bag offer. It was just lucky time to get it. So I think it depends case by case. And that's why each time I think my ratios can be so different as well, because it also depends on what combination you want and everything like that. But it is a very interesting question, which I don't know the exact answer. I'm going to ask. I'm going to be cheeky and ask and see if I can get the answer.
Yeah, you should try. I've heard.
You might not tell me though, but I can try.
Yeah, like in Singapore, I've heard of stories from some of my subbies that said that it does. It does. But I've also had friends who got 2 offers, and definitely in that span, it's not a 1-to-1.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So a friend of mine and a subby of mine told me that, I mean, it's good and bad. Like the essay, one of the essays was very straightforward. Said it's 1-to-1 each time. So she it's sort of like she kind of has a goal and she knows. And it's in Hermes, 1 is not that a lot. It's not really a lot to Hermes, because things are expensive there. So yeah, but another friend of mine.
Yeah, I was going to say their VIP clients are crazy. Like, okay, not crazy. They are crazy. Like in terms of the spend, it's easy. They'll drop $100,000 in one go, like easily. Like I've just seen I've seen someone go in the store like, I'm taking this, and I was like, oh my god.
Yes,
and it's normal. They're VVIPs. What's a crock bag? Easy.
My car, my house. Okay, this one. Okay, thank you, Roy. Okay, let's see. Virginia, Mel, have you heard in Australia, it's easier to get your first quota bag, but it gets harder after? And I think Amy, you know about this.
Same here, yeah.
Yes.
This is why.
I have heard that. In short, and also from my own personal experience as well. Easier to get the first one, was much quicker. Second one was harder, in my experience. I don't know about you. And Amy, you were saying you heard that in Canada too, right?
Definitely. All my friends that have been shopping at the local store here have said so. And a subby told me as well. First bag, much easier. As well as didn't seem like a local subby shared with me that for her second bag, she had spent like 3-to-1. 3.2 to 1. Like it's
right.
Yeah. And even my friends, one of my friend I know, I think she's on her like fourth or fifth bag, and she definitely drops like easily every year 30,000, and that is not counting certain things that don't count, right? The certain categories that don't count. And also your subsequent bags, like aside from your first one, subsequent bags, you have to wait minimum 12 to 18 months because we just don't have the stock to go around. which is why it just seems like it's harder. But I think it's also the supply and demand issue, right? And then because it has to be spaced out, then you have no choice but to end up spending more if you happen to go in often and buying things. Because once you become a lover of the brand, you just buy things because you love the things, not because you're being strategic anymore.
Yeah, but definitely Hermes prioritize obviously their bigger stores, the stores that generate the most income. And Australia, even though we're a big continent, we only have 25 million people, so it's like we don't get as much stock. And I imagine Canada would be the same. I know Singapore's a little bit different. You guys get quite a lot of stock too, not as much as obviously like Hawaii or New York, but even Hong Kong I hear get quite good stock too.
Hong Kong gets a lot of stock. Hong Kong gets a lot. Our friend here, Clara, I'm not sure she's still here, but she's like, they get bags all the time. It's like raining bags in Hong Kong.
And Hong Kong has so many vintage stores there too that sell so much pre-loved Birkin and Kellys as well. But yeah. Thanks for your question, Virginia.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, it jumped. Okay, I'm gonna go from bottom. I think it jumped. Let's see. There was a question on Constance's. Where is it? Oh, there we go. And Miss 2K, Mel. I'm from Melbourne. Would like to know if a Constance is a quarterback.
No.
Here, like, oh, it's not for you. Okay, interesting.
Not in Melbourne. What about Canada? Is it quarterback?
It is.
Oh, Singapore?
My subby is after a Constance, and the essay told her that it is a quota bag. I'm like, oh shoot, because I thought it wasn't, but apparently it is.
The last time I asked, because I saw a Constance, I'm like, hey, if I want to buy that, does that count? Goes, no. I said, anyway, I don't want it. I was just joking. Like sometimes I'm just being cheeky, like sometimes I'm like you, Kat. Sometimes I just joke around. Sometimes I'm a bit more serious. Yeah. But no, not from the last time I asked, which was only like a couple months ago.
Which is why I thought it wasn't, but I wonder if they changed the policies just depending on the supply too. Like, is that possible? Probably, right? They can do what they want.
Country to country, I don't know. I'm actually not 100% sure on that, because some subbies have told me it's a quota bag, and then some subbies have told me it's not a quota bag. So, but in Melbourne, not a quota bag.
I'm not sure in Singapore. Because I haven't been eyeing it, but you know what? I think I'll ask one day when I visit again. When I get my nail polish from Hermes.
Oh, I saw that came out. They look really nice. Pity I can't even paint my nails. I'm the worst.
Yeah, it's gonna be so ridiculously expensive. It's probably like $100 per bottle.
Probably.
I'll buy one.
One will be turned to two.
Okay, this is another question. Really good one, because I think I had this question in another video as well. So from Wei-Wen, if you don't feel comfortable with the sales for the first time you bought something, can you ask to change sales?
Oh, like sales associate. Are you talking about, just say you go in and it's your very first purchase and you bought from someone? This is how I'm interpreting the question. Yep. And then the next time you go in, can you buy from someone else?
Yes, I think that's the way the question is, because I have this experience, and I think in Melbourne it's a little challenging. Like for me, my first pair of orans was from another store, and I went in sort of thinking that that was earlier, just pre-pandemic, before I was considering. I was thinking, okay, maybe let's try this orans first. And, let's drop the question and see how this process is. I bought it, but I honestly didn't like the salesperson. I didn't feel comfortable. But I have by being in Singapore, we have opportunity because we have 3 stores. I just didn't go back to that store. I said, bye.
Bye. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it's okay. I think it's for your first time. I think it's okay because they're not officially your SA unless you talk to them about a wish list and you got serious, right? If you're just buying something and then they happen to serve you, and the next time you go in, they might not even be there and you might click with someone else. And then if you click with them, then you can, you know, and you like them, then they can be your SA. Like I remember one of my purchases in Hermes the first time, it was with someone, not that she wasn't nice, but I just didn't feel the vibe. But just the next time when I went in, I just went up to someone else and saying, oh, do you have this? You know what I mean? Because it's not like she owns me because she served me once, but it does get more difficult, I have to say. Just say you feel obliged and you've seen an essay 2 or 3 times, and then you're like, oh, I don't like this person. Then that might be a bit more trickier. You know what I mean? Because they've served you 3 times. So I would say, if you know usually you know the first time already, just the next time, just do it casually and just go up to someone that you hopefully think is nicer. But it you know, it really depends, because it's hard to always click with the right person, right? How do you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I think. I'm not sure. What do you girls think?
Actually, it makes total sense, because I think even though I did make an appointment the first time and I was assigned an essay, I think I remember that the essay didn't share with me his direct contact until I asked him. So it was actually at that point, it was up to me whether I wanted to stay with that same essay or not.
Like
Yes.
dating.
Yeah, I think it makes total sense. It could have just like called a second time and just
someone
then
else
get assigned a different essay, or ask for someone else.
Yeah.
This is sort of like dating, you know. You're like, first
But
date.
just try and keep it like before you change, you know. Like if you want to change, because then it gets awkward, because if you're like, oh my god, I don't like this, you know?
Yeah, it's like speed dating, you know. You go in, you're like, okay, which one I like, and then you get that one, and she's like, doesn't work out. Okay, next. But you know, in Melbourne, and also, well, Melbourne has 2 stores now, so maybe they
change stores.
Those 2 stores, and then Canada. I mean, Vancouver has 1 store. So I'll tell you a funny story, because when I went in, I think my last round, I went to see my essay, and then I was walking around upstairs, and then I turned around, I saw this other essay, and I was like, oh my goodness. It's my old, like really old essay from another boutique. And this was from the airport boutique. And I stared at her. I was like, oh, shit. Because I didn't know. I didn't know they mixed. So then I told my essay, I said, is this essay, like, is she in this store? And he was like, why? I was like, oh, I used to work with her. And it got a little awkward, but luckily, because it's been so long, she obviously doesn't recognize me. But that was kind of funny, because, like you said, it's awkward, right? You've been working with this one essay, it was years and years ago, and then suddenly she appears in the same store. Awkward.
But so you kept to your normal essay, not your old essay?
Yeah, I didn't, because that was to the airport and all that. But because of the COVID and all, since the airports are closed. Some of these, they are moving them. So I'm like, okay, oops. But luckily, she doesn't recognize me. I don't think she did, because they were all masked up anyway, like eyes and all.
Yeah.
Okay, from Diana. Hello, Mel. Nice to see you. It is frustrating. It is frustrating H journey. Please tell us to end this journey. Oh my gosh. Which is your next H bag, if you asked?
Hi, Diana. It is a very frustrating H journey. I don't even know why it even developed into a journey now. Now it's like a journey. But the thing is that, honestly, if you are really frustrated and you are finding yourself getting upset over it, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at the end of the day. I really don't think it is. So that's why I said there are other options going through, you know, resellers, brand new and stuff that you trust. But if it just becomes too sour, it's not worth it. But I see the haha at the end. But if you're an Hermes lover like us, you know, just enjoy, like, this is something in life I need to do better, but just find the joy in the journey, you know, the joy in the journey, and the things that you like, you just get. And the thing that often disappoints us, I find, is when you have an expectation. When you expect, you get disappointed. So I understand that. I mean, social media also does not help with this too, because everyone's like, oh, I got my bag, I got my bag, oh, you know, I got my bag. And then it's so frustrating, you know. But yeah, just try not to take it too seriously, and just buy what you like, and just have fun with it. Otherwise, it will just, you won't enjoy it. And then there's no fun. Fashion's supposed to be fun. Our bags are supposed to be fun. We're supposed to enjoy it. We're supposed to, you know, all that kind of stuff. And what is the next H bag? If you are asked, I would really love a special order.
Okay, we're putting it out there. And
We're
Mel,
putting it out there. I want a
isn't it your
special
birthday
order.
month? This is your birthday month, right? I
Yeah, it's
remember.
nearly my birthday. It's
Okay.
nearly my birthday.
Happy
So
birthday, man. Oh,
thank you. But all the stores are closed anyway. It'll be my second birthday in lockdown, so it's not going to kind of happen. But it's okay. When it does, it does, you know.
send this video to your essay and say, like, she's asked it 3 times, 4
No,
times.
seriously, I've joked with her, and I've even joked with the store manager, and they're very blunt with me. They're like, it's your birthday, so what?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just, I just don't take it too seriously. When it,
Yeah.
if there is something, there is, and if there isn't, there isn't. It's not like I know that I have a very big collection, so there's no rush.
Absolutely. Thank you, Diana. That's funny. I was like, please tell us to end it.
In the journey.
Okay. Pogana, do you find yourself would hunt for another offer right away once you got your dream bag? And how soon? Did you, Mel?
Me?
Amy's-
Is this
oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, I think as a bag lover, right, one thing that I have to admit, I need to put my hand up and admit, right, is like whether it's Hermes, whether it's Chanel, like you get your bag, right, and you're like, okay, what do I want next, right? But it's like, you know, because I wanted that bag. So I don't know if I would say I hunt, but I'm always just thinking about, you know, if I was to get another one, what would I want? And so there's no set how soon. Sometimes it's straight away. I just think about it, but I don't exactly hunt for it, because you can't hunt for Hermes bags. You just have to be patient, unless you want to hunt on the pre-loved market. Does that make sense? I don't know, but what do you guys, when you get, just say you got, you know, a bag offer straight away, would you like want another one, or do you think about another one, or I don't know?
Okay, so maybe Amy can, because Amy hasn't got her bag yet, but let's say for your Chanel, like,
Yeah.
do you, like, for me, I mean, I'll answer first. Like, for me, when I got my Birkin, I had a short period. Well, yeah, kind of like I'm sort of like, I'm content, but there's always that, you know, the back of the head. If you're a bag lover, right, you're like, that's nice as well.
Yeah.
Nice as well. So you can't help it. But in terms of whether I would go and buy it and hunt it, I am really content with my Birkin, because I got what I wanted. But you know, it's been a while. It's been a while. I don't mind adding something else soon.
What would you want?
Kelly. I think I would like a Kelly 25. Actually, I won't mind a 28 as well, but yeah, I think a 25 would be a good size. My colors, the colors are the one that's actually pretty challenging. Told my essay like a neutral gray. Won't mind green, but obviously my essay ignored me, so I know I'm not there yet. What about you, Amy? Do you hunt for the next?
Well, I think it's only normal, right? As a bag lover, fashion lover as well, because I understand this question from the point of view of like, even like just mentally plan for the second bag, which I admit I have already, because yes, I want my first bag that I want to achieve is the Birkin 25, no doubt. Like that's if I'm gonna get one bag, that's the one I want, at least that's what I think I want now. But I already know that I also want a Kelly in my life. So I know it's an eventuality, but whether I will immediately like work on the pre-spend right away, I don't think so, because I will probably have that honeymoon phase where I'm just like using the bag, enjoying it, and then just admiring it. So I feel like mentally I'm like preparing myself like, oh, that's the second one I want to work on. But like to actually go in and do the pre-spend right away, maybe not. I'll just maybe wait a little while. Maybe until I'm like, oh, okay, I had my honeymoon phase. I can like now start going buy stuff now again, you know?
Yeah. I think it's just because we're bag lovers. We're just kind of always looking. So it's at the back of our heads. And, you know, sometimes because we're online a lot, it's not like we're meaning to hunt, but we kind of see something and it's like, oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I mean, it's like anybody, right? Whether it's guys who likes cars, you know, you get the best looking car, you're like, oh, that's a nice car. That's
exactly.
Stop! You can't stop. Justifying our love. Okay, Katie, Mel, which of your Hermes bags is your absolute favorite, and which is most used?
Okay, so this is going to come as no surprise because my first one is my favorite because it's just so special, and plus honestly it took a lot of effort to get it. So for those that have just joined, yes, it's my Birkin 30 Malachite. Kate, you don't need Kat, you don't need to go off screen because I'll just go back a bit. But I would say my most used, I rotate so much. Maybe just which one is my most used? It really varies at certain times, but I do use my black Kelly a lot. This one, yeah. But you know, one which I have been using quite a lot as well is my Gris Pearl.
I thought that was the one that you would have said.
Yeah, this one more recently because I've been really loving it. Wow. Yeah, a 28 return, honestly. Okay, I actually like the 28 better than the 25. I think it's a great medium everyday size bag. In the return, it's more relaxed than everything. In a 25, yeah, so that's me. But I mean, not that I don't love Kelly 25s because I have Kelly 25s, but if I had to pick one size, I like that. But yeah, this is just such a beautiful neutral. This is actually one that I did get from a reseller because back then, before I think Gripper was that popular, I was really looking for a really light gray. And so I was more specific. I think resellers are also really good when you want something really specific. And this one did come brand new in box with receipt, with everything. I mean, it depends on how picky you want to be. Sometimes they don't come with receipt, sometimes they do, but this was full works, you know, everything. So that's a bit more eye candy for you guys.
That's beautiful. Well, now that you said you prefer 28, I'm like, should I tell my essay I want 28?
I mean, in your store, can you try it on? You should just, you know what? You should just go to one of the, because you got so many there, and just try it at the store.
So now that I know there's some, because Lux Lexicon, her store is not located in any mall. Like they're usually some like place. I can't remember now. Like, it was sort of like a area, like office area, which is not usually like a mall. Since Claire Atelier.
Yeah, now you can go to 313 Somerset.
Yeah. I always go during the weekend.
Or is that near Orchard Road, or is it not really near? Oh.
It's the next mall.
Oh,
no problem. I should.
Just try. I mean, like the Retin-A in the 28 is just, I don't know. It's just, I like the bit more of a casual vibe. The Kelly in the 25, for some reason, because it is small and cute, I prefer it in the Cellier. That's why I own more 25s in the Cellier. But look, it's all personal preference. You can't go wrong, you know?
Definitely. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, we're nearing the 2-hour mark. So I'm going
to take gosh, has it gone that quick?
Told you, Mel. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm so nervous. It flies. 2 hours flies. And if you have a comment like here, hi, Kat, I think 2 hours is not enough to talk about Hermes. And we do another session soon.
Gosh, that went by so quick.
Now you know. We definitely should. We definitely should.
Okay,
And
let's answer as many questions as we can.
okay, here we go. I think we answered this earlier. Amanda, sorry, I just joined. Just wanted to know if it's true that pre-spends restarts yearly.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, this is a good one because one
I'm gonna
the
ask
earlier
this.
question was restart every purchase.
Bag you get, every quota bag, yeah.
But
I
this
think
is
somewhat, yes. I think you would have to, because they still need to. I mean, the store have quotas and all in sales that they need to do it. And then so when your SA is presenting the case, they can't be like, oh, my customer has spent this much, but it's taken 5 years. It's like the last year she spent this much, sort of thing. So in a way, I reckon it would probably have to for them to present the case. Remember, to the store manager to approve.
starts yearly, huh?
Wow.
Maybe I don't know. There might not be a yearly, but you know what I mean. Like the time that they
Yeah.
present it, it's like, well, over this time, like she's bought a decent amount, blah blah blah. But then you just say you bought a bunch of stuff 3 years ago, and then you buy nothing,
True.
and then it's yeah. That's what I think, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm gonna ask.
I'm gonna ask my essay the next time I see.
Let's see if we can cheekily ask and get an
I said I
answer.
bought things this year. It better come. No, I'm not ready, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Alex, hi Mel. What was your
Yes.
experience at the boutique in Hawaii?
Hmm.
In your opinion, do they have more stock than other boutique? And I think Amy would be interested because you could be in Hawaii.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to travel to the States yet.
Soon.
They're not opening to Canadians yet.
100% they have more stock in Hawaii. Hawaii is considered one of their really, really big stores. At the time that I went, I was particularly lucky in the sense because the Hawaii boutique just had their new revamp, and they had the 3 stories along the one in Waikiki. It was a beautiful store. That was a really big event. But generally speaking, Hawaii is known, they have more stock. But also in Hawaii, it's not like Paris where there's the chance that you don't have to buy anything and you'll be offered. Generally, I find that with Hawaii, they some SAs are more upfront, some are not so upfront, but they like you to spend before they offer you a bag. So as an example, this was my bag, my first bag from Hawaii that I brought down. This one, it wasn't a one-to-one spend. And honestly, this one I liked a blue bag, but because I love color so much, I'm a bit more open. This was a 25, and I guess this was just very lucky because I clicked with the SA. So I didn't spend that much. I think I bought a pair of shoes, a scarf, and maybe a little bustier or something. And then this. But this wasn't he actually asked me to come back, because what I did was, I went to Hawaii, then we went to Maui, and then we came back. So it was when I had come back again. So then don't know. So that's that one. But yes, I do think they have more stock in Hawaii. And then you can try different locations, whether that's Waikiki or you go to Ala Moana Mall as well.
Oh, they have 2 stores.
Hmm.
Yeah, we get a lot of stories of people getting bags from Hawaii, right? And it's cheaper as well, right? Or tax is low.
Tax is slightly lower, but it's same retail price as US. But the taxes are slightly lower. Yeah, I think it's, instead of like 7 or 8%, it might be like 3 or 4% or something like that. Amy, I can't remember.
It's like 475.
Yeah.
But
okay.
the tax in mainland can be as high as 10%. Like California can be 10% depending on the county. Like New York as well.
Yeah, New York. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw this that didn't have the question mark, but Liz, what items besides bags are not included in the spending towards getting a bag? Mel, do you know? We don't know. I don't know. I just assume that bags and SLGs, but there are so many things.
Yeah, from what I've been told, like bags are not considered, definitely not. I mean, I also hear that different stores are different too. Some include SLGs, some don't. I mean, I think all my rodeos are an SLG and they count.
Oh, your rodeos count.
I think so. Because
Well, that's,
if
I
they
think that's where
don't,
the difference is.
if they
Because
don't, oh my goodness, because I bought a lot of them. But yeah, I just know for definite it's bags, but I do think the rest count. Have you guys been told any different?
I
yeah,
heard leather goods don't count. So leather
Yeah,
goods like
goods, yeah.
SLGs and bags. But shoes are leather goods, but they consider shoes as a different category. So leather
Mm.
goods, and that includes rodeos here.
I'm gonna ask because I buy so much rodeos. So if I didn't count my rodeos, my pre-spend's like not very much. I don't know. I'm gonna ask. That's very interesting. Good question, Liz. I 100% bags, but SLGs. I mean, I haven't bought that many SLGs lately, but probably not as well. But yeah. How about you, Amy? Did Canada tell you anything specific or just leather goods?
well, it wasn't information from my essay per se, but I do follow the Canadian Purse Forum pretty closely, and I'm pretty sure I read rodeos don't count, small leather goods don't count, including wallets, fashion jewelry don't count. I think that's it. I think. So
I'm gonna ask.
and bags don't count.
Oh,
Like,
bags 100% don't count.
Yeah.
Fashion jewelry, I'm actually not 100% sure as well because I've bought fashion jewelry as well.
I think,
But that's the thing. Like, some people also don't spend as high of a ratio, and then like everyone's story is different.
Everyone's story is different.
Yeah.
So but for certain guys, like bags, no. Bags, we know 100%. I know don't count.
Yeah. Okay. I think we'll take 3 more questions. I see a few. Okay. So let's take this one. I think this is going to be for you, Mel, because we've never shopped at the sales. Have you any tips?
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't shopped at the H sales. When I went to Paris, I just happened to miss out by a day. Otherwise, I would have gone. And there's no H sales here because we're not big enough. I think there was one in Sydney, but I couldn't. We don't have it here. Sorry, I can't give you any tips. I would love to shop.
Well, I'm not a VIP at all to be invited for sales, but there are definitely a few sales a year in Singapore.
Wow.
But yeah, they're quite strict actually, and they're really quiet about it as well. So we maybe one day we'll get all these our Luxee members to tell us, because I'm sure there are some who go for the sales.
I think it saves a lot. Like they've saved 50% off shoes, ready to wear. Some they get some really good stuff. I would like to go to one, but we just don't have it here.
Thank you, VJ. Okay, from Shu Yan, for my first bag from the store, would you recommend requesting for a B25 Sakura or a K25 Ito?
Sakura.
That's easy. What would you ask?
But you guys might be different.
I
think Amy will go for the Ito. Yeah,
I would go because I don't buy pink bags. I mean, maybe I'll start now. I don't know. Actually, you know what I would like in pink is a mini Kelly. Like mini Kelly, I just want it in a color. Actually, any color is fine.
What pink, Amy?
Like
what pink though, Amy? Please.
Oh, I would prefer a darker pink, but I honestly wouldn't say no to any pink. Probably.
Okay. Kat, what about you?
It's the mini Kelly.
Strategically being, I will go for the Sakura. Just in case, if I don't like it one day. It's a very popular color.
If you want to know,
Ito is popular too.
Yeah, but if you had both of them, right? If you ever got offered both of them, not that just we don't buy to resell, but the B25 Sakura, hands down, if you got that offer, you would be able to like that and get so much more for it than a dupe.
Yeah.
It's
But
just
we're
as a
not
term of
we're not asking you to be resellers. We're just
yeah,
saying
we're not asking you to be. I'm just saying, like, there's certain colors that are more desirable because Rose Sakura is a more desirable color. Because you have to remember with it too, it's beautiful. That's why it's also a color that Hermes always will do, you know. And Sakura doesn't come around every year, so you know. But you buy what you love. Don't just listen to like that. That's just my personal opinion, guys. Because I've got a Sakura. Okay, that's just me.
but yeah, I do like pink as well, so I would definitely go with the sakura.
Okay.
But it's also a good choice. Okay, let's see. This is the last question, and I think this is for you, Mel, because since you love rodeos, is there any limit to buying rodeos within a year?
So far, I've heard that if you buy from like Hermes.com, they do limit it. Like once you bought like a few, they don't let you buy anymore. But for me, on my personal thing from the store, I've never been told I'm not allowed to buy anymore. But because rodeos differ from store to store and the amount that they get, some people have told me, oh my gosh, I can't even get it. My rodeo is harder to get than a Birkin or Kelly, you know. And some people get them really, really easily, you know. I don't have that much luck online, but some people have so much luck online. I think US gets a lot of stock online. But my personal experience, I haven't been told you're not allowed to buy any more rodeos because I'm still wanting more Pegasus ones. That's still on my wish list. So, you know, but yeah, I'm a bit crazy like that, guys. So don't buy. You don't need too many rodeos. Just letting everyone know you do not need rodeos.
You know, just for fun, I asked about a rodeo, like if I could buy one.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I was brushed off. It's like, oh yeah, we don't have those.
Me too. I was
It's apparently very hard to buy them here.
same.
And if you
Same
get
here.
offer one, it's like a prize. Like it's like your prize for getting off one.
Yeah. I think my store manager just knows I'm a bit crazy. So he probably like, you know, and I don't get them all the time too, because like everyone's like, Mel, where's your Pegasus Rodeo? Everyone's got theirs. You don't have yours. And I'm like, what can I do? I have to wait. But then when I waited, then I got two at one go. So it's it just really depends. So it's okay. Eventually.
I've asked as well in Singapore. I said, I think I need a little nice. My SS like, no, they don't even get them often. And if they get them, obviously he's like, no.
I like your honesty of your essay. Like doesn't beat around the bush, which is good.
Yeah.
Now you just have to ask for your Kelly next.
I sort of did. I sort of. And he was like, okay, yeah, okay, you can let me know. So in a way, that's kind of like brushing me off a little bit. But who knows? Who knows? Okay, so thank you. We've hit the 2 hour a little bit off, but thank you, Mel. This was so fun. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone that joined. Sorry if we couldn't answer everything, but I think we're just having too much fun. But yeah, so
we definitely love to have you back one day later on. You know, you're so busy, but I think that'll be so good. And yeah, thank you everyone for your questions. And
thank you everyone.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, we'll see you guys next week on Amy's channel. Bye.
Yes. Bye, guys.